Hey everyone, Dr. Rowe coming to you from SpineCare in St. Joseph, Michigan. In this video, we're going to focus on fixing what is called dead butt syndrome, also known as gluteal amnesia. This is where the glute muscles weaken over time and stop working properly, and it's usually due to prolonged sitting, poor posture, and lack of exercise. And over time, this can cause a lot of issues, including discomfort, muscle imbalances, and pains across the back, hip, and legs. To fix this, I want to go over strengthening exercises that you can use daily to help improve glute strength and coordination to fix those muscle imbalances. Each exercise works differently. To get the best results, go through them all and use what works best for you. With that being said, let's get started. So let's begin with an exercise that's really going to wake up the glutes. This one is called the wall sit, and all you're going to need is a smooth wall. Let's break this one down. What we're going to do is have our feet out in front of us. That way we can lean our whole body weight flush against that wall. You pretty much want your head all the way down towards your tailbone, flush against the wall for support. From there, what you want to do is have your feet a little bit wider than your hips and point your toes out slightly to help take tension off the knees. You're then going to place most of your body weight towards the middle part of your foot onto your heel for a little bit better center of gravity. From there, to activate the glutes, what I like to do is just clench my butt cheeks a little bit and hold it during the exercise. So after we've done all of that, it's really straightforward. All you're going to do is sit downward towards the floor, essentially squatting towards the floor. The more that you go down, the more that you're going to feel a deep activation over the front of your thighs right here, over the quadriceps or the quads, but more importantly across the glutes or the buttocks. Build into this one as much as you can, hold it for a couple seconds, come back up, take a breather, and try to repeat this 10 to 15 times. And with each repetition, try to build into it just a little bit more. Afterwards, see how you feel. If it feels like you have a little bit more energy, always challenge yourself by throwing in another set or two. If you want to take this one to the next level though, and really focus on a side that may be a little bit more weak, you can turn this into a one-legged wall sit. So pretty much just place all of your body weight onto one foot and then repeat. Try to do this on one side about 10 times and then switch to the other side and repeat. If you do notice that one side is a little bit more challenging or weak, at that point throw some more repetitions in to make sure that you got a really good workout. So this exercise is called the donkey kick, and it's really going to focus on the gluteus maximus muscle. We're going to start on all fours on a floor just like this. Have your hands roughly shoulder width apart, have your legs roughly hip width apart. What you're going to do first is keep one knee bent at 90 degrees and lift it slightly off the floor to the point where your kneecap is hovering just a little bit above. At this point, you should feel a really good activation of the core muscles right here, which is a good thing because it's going to help protect our back during this exercise. So let's keep our knee bent at 90 degrees and now slowly lift our leg and foot upward towards the ceiling. What you want to do is lift it up to the point where your thigh is in line with your body. A big mistake that I see with this exercise is people just drive that leg up towards the ceiling as much as they can, lifting it above the torso, which is a bad thing because in this position you're going to put a lot of compression in your back. So just focus on driving your thigh upward till you feel a really deep activation across the buttocks into the glutes. At that point, hold this for about 3 to 5 seconds. You're going to release it, take a breather, and then repeat this on the other side. Just do this nice and slowly for about 5 to 10 repetitions on both sides. But afterwards, see how you feel. If it feels like you have a little bit more energy, always challenge yourself by throwing in another set or two. So this exercise is called the Hydrant, and it's going to focus on improving overall glute function and strength. Let's start on a floor on all fours just like this. Have your hands roughly shoulder width apart, legs hip width apart. What you're going to do is slide one foot away from you, keeping that foot flat on the floor. The more that you slide away, the more that you're going to feel a really good activation of the calf muscles that works upward towards your hip into your lower back. Once you feel it in the hip, you want to hold that position and now slowly raise your leg upward towards the ceiling so it's roughly in line with your body. You're going to feel a ton of muscles start to fire across the core, back, but more importantly into the buttocks and your thigh. What you're going to do is hold this comfortably for about 3 to 5 seconds, and now to take it to the next level, what you're going to do is release it, have your knee bent roughly at 90 degrees, and let your kneecap hover above the floor. From here, you're now going to swing your leg and your knee upward towards the ceiling as much as you can, focusing on driving through your hip. And for good measure, I like to rotate my whole body with this one to look upward towards the ceiling. Now you know why we call this one the hydrant. You're going to feel a deep activation into the glutes, especially on the outer part of your hip. Let's hold this comfortably for 3 to 5 seconds. We're going to come back down, relax, take a breather, and then repeat this on the other side. Just do this as a nice fluid movement for about 5 to 10 repetitions on both sides. And with each repetition, try to build into it just a little bit more. Afterwards, see how you feel. If it feels like you have a little bit more energy, always challenge yourself by throwing in another set or 2. So this is called the bridge, and it is one of the absolute best ways to strengthen the glutes, but also fix muscle imbalances across the back, hips, and legs. We're going to start lying flat on our back on a floor, but if your mattress is firm enough, you might be able to do this one in bed. Just have your legs roughly hip width apart, knees bent, feet flat. The first thing that we want to do is brace our core muscles. It's kind of like when somebody pokes you in your stomach, how you tense up, drawing your belly button towards your spine. Just mimic that, hold it lightly during this exercise to protect the back. And for good measure, to target the glutes a little bit more, let's just clench our butt cheeks and hold it during this exercise. Take your hands, put them off to your side for support. So let's lightly drive our heels downward into the floor and then slowly lift our hips upward towards the ceiling till our body roughly is in a straight line from our knees to our hips to our shoulders. In this position, you're going to feel a ton of muscles start to fire across the core, into the back, into the buttocks, across the legs. Let's hold this comfortably for about 5 seconds, release it, take a breather, and then repeat this 5 to 10 times. And with each repetition, try to build into it just a little bit more. Afterwards, see how you feel. If it feels like you have a little bit more energy, always challenge yourself by throwing in another set or 2. But if you want to take this one to the next level and really focus on muscle imbalances off to one side, this is what we can do. Let's build back into our bridge position, but lift one leg up like this, placing all of our body weight onto one side. If you have a lot of weakness, this is going to be very challenging to be able to stabilize this. So I would look up a little bit, make sure that your hips are level, hold this for about 5 seconds, relax, and then repeat this on the other side. Do this about 5 times on both sides. But if you do notice that one side, for me it's my left, it just feels like it's a little bit more weak, at that point I treat it like my weak link, and I like to throw more repetitions in until it feels like I got a really good workout. Another movement that you can do is called the clamshell bridge, and this one is going to help target the gluteus medius muscle, huge instigator of back and hip pain. So for this one, we're going to put our feet together and just lightly press our heels downward into the floor until we feel a really good activation of the muscles around the hip. Once we feel that, we're going to hold this and now take our knees and press them down towards the floor as much as we can until we feel a really good stretch forming on the inner part of our thighs, working towards the groin into the hip. Once we've done that, we're going to pretty much just do our bridge. Lift the hips upward towards the ceiling till our body is in that straight line. This time around though, you're going to feel it a little bit more on the outside of your hips. 5-second hold, release, repeat this 5 to 10 times. But if it feels like you have more energy, always challenge yourself by throwing in another set or 2. I would go through all these movements, target the ones that feel like they are the most weak, and at that point, keep throwing more repetitions in to strengthen those muscles. So this exercise is what I call hip clocks, and it's going to help improve glute strength, but more importantly, build coordination with other muscles to fix imbalances. All we're going to need is a sturdy object to grab onto. So a chair, preferably one without wheels, should work. You can also use a desk or a countertop. So let's stand right next to that object and have very good upright posture. Just have your back as straight as possible. Whatever side is furthest away from that object, we're going to straighten that leg at our knee, have our toes pointed towards the floor. Have your legs straight out in front of you and treat this like noon on a clock. So we're going to slowly start to raise our foot upward towards the ceiling until we feel a deep activation of the muscles right here over the front of our thigh. This would include the hip flexors. Let's hold this position comfortably for about 3 to 5 seconds. Lower our foot down towards the floor, take a breather. On the next repetition though, go a little bit off to the side, more towards 12:30, and then repeat. You're going to notice it targets the muscles a little bit differently. So do this throughout the whole clock going towards 3 o'clock. You can even go towards 4, 5, or even 6 or 7 o'clock if you have the flexibility. What you're trying to find is a position that feels like it's the most tight, achy, or weak. For me, it's about 2 o'clock. At that point, I treat it like my weak link and throw in about 5 to 10 more repetitions, or until it feels like I got a really good workout. Just keep building into it over and over again. So if you would like to take this one to the next level and challenge the glutes a little bit more, this is what we can do. Instead of keeping our foot straight, let's turn it inward as much as we can, putting the hip into internal rotation. You're going to feel a really good activation on the outside of your hip. At this point, lift your foot upward. You can also put the hip into external rotation by putting your foot outward like this. This time around, I feel it a little bit more towards my groin. But I would go through as many different positions, including with the rotation right here, and focus on any spot that feels like it's a little bit more weak. Just remember though, whatever you do on one side, always do on the other to help keep everything in balance. If the exercises help, please support the channel by giving this video a like and maybe subscribing too. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching.